Good morning, good afternoon, good night. Welcome to another episode of Cigars and Whiskey, the podcast that discusses love, relationships, sex, and dating from a male's perspective. I'm your guy, Ron Cole, and I'm joined by my guys, White Star GB.
What's shaking?
We also have super producer Corey Cool in the building, Cool University.
What up, though?
Big shout out to everyone tuned in on YouTube, on Facebook. Please remember to share so we can get more people to tap into the conversation. We have a great show for you guys tonight. Tonight we are drinking Craig Ellicky 13 Scotch whiskey.
Okay.
And
Craig Ellicky.
Tonight's topic is going to be, is there a male loneliness epidemic?
Yeah. Seen it going around. Let's kick it, man.
Yeah.
See what's going on with it.
Absolutely. White Star GB.
Shaking, man.
How was your week, man?
Week was good. Actually, 2 weeks, right? We took off last week.
Yeah. We did.
Yeah. Took a little time. And everything's cool, man. Spring is in the air. Kind of hit or miss on the days, but we're there. We're definitely getting them rainy days, and yeah, man. Everything's cool over here, man. How about yourself?
I'm chilling, man. I guess that's why I was kind of like in the midst of wanting to get back in, back in the swing of things,
Right.
whatever. Yeah, we did take a week off.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm cool. Everything's cool.
Cool.
Yeah, no complaints over here.
That's what's up.
All right. Again, big shout out to everyone tuned in on YouTube. Please remember to share so we can get more people to tap into the conversation. Like I said before, tonight we are drinking Craig Ellicky single malt Scotch whiskey, Speyside. This is a 46 ABV, 92 proof, and this is a Scotch. Like we said, it's been aged for 13 years.
Nice.
And I'm not gonna lie, what drew me to it is the price point for an aged Scotch. You know what I mean? So usually, I guess this was like less than $60, right? Closer to 50.
Okay.
And I want to say like the Macallan 12. What is that, about 60 something bucks? Maybe 60.
Yeah, Macallan is about 60
something,
closer to 70 with tax.
Yeah, so I was like, we'll give this a try.
Nice.
So as far as what I'm reading on it so far, you got notes of aromas of oozing toasted marshmallows, baked apples studded with cloves, with a tang of sulfury cordite lingering in the background.
What is that?
That
don't sound healthy.
Definitely. Like I'm not gonna lie. It's.
I think that's what I'm tasting on the back end. Is that sulfur? Because I don't like. It's got a weird aftertaste, and that's what's kind of holding me.
Really?
And I guess that's what I'm tasting on the back end, is that sulfur.
I know what I'm saying. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think
I like sulfur.
I'm enjoying it so far, man. Like, I think it has a lot of complexity, man.
Yeah.
Like
it's the back end that's a little much for me, but
definitely a little sweeter than a lot of other scotches, and maybe I could get that marshmallow. I saw another write-up on the notes of it. Somebody said a little bit of pineapple or something like that, but definitely like a sweeter fruit taste.
Okay.
I'm definitely getting that.
Okay.
But for me, so far so good. You're not so much for you right now?
Nah, not right now.
Not right now?
Yeah, I'll work on it.
All right, we'll let it marinate.
That back end taste. It's a little heavy on the back end. So I don't know. We'll see.
Right now, I'm kind of enjoying this, man.
I kind of enjoy a smooth finish a little bit more, but
I think it's pretty smooth.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Shout out to KB, because I remember for his birthday, I had picked up a Speyside single malt, and he enjoyed it.
Nice.
He called me about it. He was like, yo, that was pretty good or whatever like that.
Nice.
And for some reason, like I don't know, are spy sides, if anybody could chime in, are they a little bit cheaper as far as like aged scotches? The ones that come from spy side? Because I want to say the one that I got him was definitely like 20 something years.
Okay.
And it was about maybe $1.20, $1.30 for something that old.
Okay.
You know, it might be a lot more than that.
Right.
So but he said it was very, very good. I had never tasted it, but I just got it for him for his birthday one year.
Nice.
But yeah, man. So far so good for me. We'll give it some more time and see if GB opens up a little bit more to it.
Yeah, we'll come around to it.
And yeah, we'll let it marinate and we'll see how it fares. All right.
Yeah.
Let's jump right into the show.
Yeah, let's get to it.
All right. So where you want to start?
Let's start the loneliness. Let's start with the head topic, yo. Start with the top of the list.
Okay. I guess we got to give this young lady some credit. I'm not sure exactly what this TikToker's name is, but I think she is a lawyer.
Mm-hmm.
I think her name is like Lauren Nagoyan or whatever. I don't know how to pronounce that name. And we got a TikTok clip talking about some of the reasons or some of the characteristics of young or men that are actually lonely. All right, let's jump right into it. Yeah, that one right there. Mm-hmm. You gotta go to the tab.
There is a male loneliness epidemic, and as a divorce lawyer, I see it all the time. Men who realize way too late that they have no real support system. They've built their entire lives around a marriage, a job, maybe a hobby or two, but never deep, meaningful friendships. And when the relationship ends, they're left with nothing. Men are lonelier than ever, and it's not just a social media buzzword. Studies have shown that men are losing friendships at an alarming rate, and by middle age, many have no one they can turn to outside of their partner. Meanwhile, women have built entire support networks, group chats, best friends, right family they can talk to. So,
because you said a lot, I just kind of want to you want to let her play the whole thing.
No. I think it's like almost like a couple of minutes.
Yeah, no, we're gonna go back to it.
Yeah, we'll go back to it. Yeah.
Touch on what she said initially.
Just hit the first icon with the no above. Yeah, right there.
Yeah, she gets saying that men are less likely to keep friends. Like women keep friends more than men.
I would agree. I would kind of agree because I think it lends to men are usually like very on the surface when it comes to their friendships, and I think women they build deeper connections with their friends.
I don't even understand that part because it's like the complete opposite of my world. I've always thought that women abandoned their friends and their family to absorb themselves into their husband's world. That's the way it usually seemed like to me. To hear this is like weird to me because it's like, I kind of cherish my friends and my friend groups. I've had friends from the sandbox to, people that I've known like cool, but now have become friends, solid friends that I'll probably be friends with Corey forever, So it's like, I don't understand.
Yeah, I kind of disagree as well. Yeah,
how you can just like it doesn't make any sense.
I think in that aspect we may be a little bit spoiled in a sense.
But we come every week and we see these things that are going on and what people are talking about, and we say the same thing, that we're outliers and we're spoiled. And it's like, are we that great of people that everything doesn't apply to us? It's like, we all have a couple of group chats on our phones. We all know people that we've gone to grade school with, if not first or second grade. We all know we have great friends that we show up for. They show up for us. Our kids are friends. Our kids are friends with people that we've known. It's we build communities like regular. I don't know. It seems self-inflicted. These people who do this to themselves, it seems a little self-inflicted.
So if you had to take a gaze around and you think about your day to day, your weeks to weeks, and you see, you be like, yo, I know you probably seen some lonely people in your walk, or somebody you assume was like lonely.
How could I even see that? I don't know. Like the only person that I would be able to see that with is someone like at work, maybe, but I wouldn't know. You know, when they go on
No, I'm
vacation,
just
I'm
saying. No,
assuming
I mean
on their time off, I'm assuming they're
the same way.
Watching sports with their friends, like how
All right.
guys do. You know, guys get together. Guys,
So,
community.
you automatically assume like they do have a friend group or whatever. You don't see somebody and they give you like they give you a vibe of like, oh, he seems like he's a loner, like he don't got friends or
no, because either you have friends or you have family, and if you don't want to go, then it's on you. I feel like there are people that are loners, that are naturally loners, and they choose not to be part of things because they rather be alone, or they're too comfortable, or they move to build themselves like a better life, and then maybe it's too inconvenient for them to come around.
Mm-hmm.
But that's on them. That's self-inflicted. That's what you chose, you know. But you still got to make exceptions. I kind of don't understand it so far. So I'm open to it. I've heard it, and I'm just like, so far on the surface, it just seems like
to kind of to kind of chime in on that, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's three of us sitting around the table,
mm-hmm.
right? Who come from similar area, I guess the same area per se. But like me, my oldest friend I met when I was 5, 38. Just literally spoke to him 2 days ago. All of those friends I met between the age of 5, well, not all of them, but let's say out of the people I met between 5 and 10, a large majority of them I'm still friends with.
Yeah.
When I went to college, I made friends. Maybe didn't keep up with them, but I made friends fast enough. When I got into the workforce, I made friends. When I started working in radio, I've made friends. And they are, well, maybe because you know what, to a certain degree, we don't really hold our friends to too much responsibility to a degree, right? Which
that's possible.
Which kind of allows them to stay around a little longer. Where sometimes I feel
a little bit more.
So we could easily be like, all right, let's say one friend goes out with another friend and you're not there, right?
Yeah.
And maybe you're even the reason why they met each other. And maybe we might look and be like, oh man, damn, whatever. But it could kind of go pretty fast. Whereas a woman, that's like a real personal thing. They may go back to the husband. Oh, she out with such and such, and they ain't even tell me, or whatever the case was. And I don't know. I think women friendships almost seem a little more fragile.
That's what I thought. I thought women had a harder time
than men do. They definitely don't seem to keep them as much as we do.
Well, maybe that's because they have higher expectations, and it gets a little bit deeper, where we might not have those expectations. You know what I mean? Like where we meet more associates and we call them friends or work friends and things like that, right?
Yeah.
So me and Cole, we share father-in-law. I've never met one of his friends. As far as I know, he don't have like. Have you ever met one of his friends?
That may be a little something different, though. You know what I mean? But okay, to use us together.
I've met my mother-in-law's friends before.
But like I said, you and I didn't have to form the relationship that we formed. Reason being, okay, two sisters marry two different guys, they become, certain friends, right? Like
But you have a friend group outside of me. I have a friend group outside of you, and we're gonna be okay. But I'm just speaking to the fact of,
but look,
there are men out there that don't.
Even with that, right? You said something pretty dope there. That I have a friend group outside of you. You have a friend group outside of me. But guess what? In your friend group, I'm friends with a lot of the friends in your friends group.
Yeah.
You are cordial and friends with a lot of the friends in my friends
Absolutely,
group. You know what I'm saying? So I think, I don't know, we build faster. Now if you look at our wives,
do we build faster or deeper? Pause. You know what I mean? Like,
well, definitely faster. For sure, faster, because it doesn't take a lot for two guys to consider themselves friends, right? It doesn't take a lot.
We could just be at the bar next to each other watching a game, and then all of a sudden it's like
rooting for the same team.
Yeah, you know what I mean? It's just that simple.
Well, but at the same time, I consider your friends really good friends of mine. You know what I mean? I'm willing to say that. Now, if you look at our two wives, they don't mingle in the same friend group at all. Like zero.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? And that's kind of a little unlikely, right? Maybe you think it would be one mutual one that they would have between the two of them.
So there's no friend that used to come over to the house that just like both of their friends?
Yeah, plenty. But
okay.
But no, I mean, friends would come over the house.
They didn't intersect.
They don't intersect. Or whatever case.
They know each other, they're cool, but they don't it's not like my wife is going out with one of his wife's friends, especially without her. And you understand what I'm saying?
Like GB, I met you through your brother.
You were cool with y'all would hang with each other without me or something. You know what I mean?
Right.
Or even without Skrilla.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I get what you're saying. But I feel like women just they build deeper connections. Like a dude majority of the time, like let's say hypothetically, if you're friends with a dude that's married to your wife's friend or whatever like that, y'all might get cool. If they split, there's a chance you might not fuck with them. You know what I mean? You might not. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But my wife, I don't know. I feel like some of my friends' wives, they would still be cool with them.
Oh, okay.
After, if something, God forbid, something happened.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
All right.
So,
how much do you think work comes into? Because she also started off with work and family responsibilities come into play with the men loneliness kind of thing. Men pour themselves so much into work that they really don't have time to do that. It just doesn't.
I think you might not have had friends in the first place.
Yeah. I
kind of felt like that might have. No. Yeah, you might not have had them like that in the first place. If you're a person that has homies, you don't get a chance to see each other as much as you maybe should. But
fight, playoff game.
Yeah, time is going to be made. If you live in the same city,
all right,
time is going to be made.
This is the thing, right? I think a dude is more likely to lose friends when it comes down to a relationship or a marriage.
See, I'm completely honest. I'm on the opposite side.
Yeah, man, I'm on the opposite side too.
Huh?
Elaborate. I don't agree.
I feel like especially if your friends are not in committed relationships or married or anything like that.
Yeah,
you're going to. There's going to be a distance that's going to build.
That's frowned upon.
What's frowned upon?
In dude, with dude law, that's frowned upon. Can't exchange over a woman.
You got married.
No,
you don't even come around.
It's not even. It's not even acting funny style.
It's not
got
changing,
your nose up her butt.
No, it's not even that. I don't think. Honestly,
you know what I mean?
I don't think it's even that. I don't think it's that, because you got to think the way you don't do the same things. You understand what I'm saying? So it's like,
until you do, you have to make time to do those things. What do you mean you don't do the same thing? So still, everything wasn't always chasing women. You still had other things in common. You still rooted for the same teams, or maybe you had opposite teams and those teams play each other. There's still always big fights. There's always, you know what I mean? And let's take it even off of sports, because my best friend doesn't even watch sports, so we kind of bond over music and another thing. Oh, we just sit around and just drink and just talk. You know what I mean? Like, but it's like we've been married, unmarried, and it's just like, nah, that's the homie. I still talk to him every day. We're gonna find something to talk about. Let me talk to you about you. Like,
right,
that's
okay,
my friend. Like, I don't understand that.
Okay, I'm gonna bring that point into play where Ron says that you don't do the same things. Mm-hmm. I have a family member friend that is as close as I could possibly imagine. And over the last, I would say, year or two, we haven't seen each other as much as we used to. Mm-hmm. Based on, yes, me pouring myself into my family situation. Mm-hmm. But it doesn't make us any less friends. You feel what I'm saying? I don't look at it like our friendship is doomed because of that. It's just, I see the nigga when I see him. And then when we do, we're going to kick it and laugh about shit we did when we was 9, 10, 11. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. I think, the way she's making it seem is because guys don't see each other as much as as they used to.
Yeah.
That the friendship is in some sort of disarray. When sometimes women, I feel like when they don't see each other, the friendship is in a disarray. But with guys, it's just, my nigga's over there, I'm over here.
We take it personal.
No, we don't take it personal.
I totally agree. We don't take it personal, but it's easier to kind of, all right. If the relationship, right now, you're talking about somebody that you grew up with, that's like a family member or family member friend for like since you guys were mad young, right? But let's use an example of a gentleman that works a job, and most of his friends, like he might have a brother or something like that, or he may have a friend or two that is from his home back, his hometown or something like that, mm-hmm. right? But he's moved to a new city or something like that, and he basically he gets his social fixed through his wife and work and things like that. If he doesn't have that job or he's not with that woman, he's not really connected to anybody. You know what I mean? Because first of all, men don't really, like if the only thing that we kicked it on the surface and it was like, yo, we watch sports and shit like that. All right, yeah, all right. Like if you're not my homie from day one, or we don't got no time on the clock like that, it's like, all right, yo, yeah, I was cool with son. I knew him for years. We used to speak every day, whatever, da-da-da. You know what I mean? How many times have you worked at a job?
Oh, all the time.
You got a homie that you speak to every day.
All the time.
Then when you don't got the job no more, it's like.
But isn't that a people thing?
My work friend. That was my.
Is that not more of a people thing than a guy or a woman thing? That's a people thing. I think.
Like my wife, she worked at a job for years. She had a friend that she used to kick it with all the time. Now, mind you, after she left, she still kicked it with her. Now they don't kick it. It took time, for them to totally the relationship to kind of all right, now we might see each other on social media, but that's it. Yeah. But years after she had left the job, she was hanging with her, calling her, speaking to her, whatever. Men, the same way they build connections quicker, they're not as deep. They're willing to it could be over that fast too.
Yeah,
and that's what I feel like.
I've had
the clip
great friends that I work with, and I'll bump into them in the world, and it's always the craziest thing. I'll see a guy at I saw one dude delivering mail in Queens, and I looked, and I was like, I know you. And we sat and talked on the corner for 5 minutes. We caught up, and it was like.
But is that right? But is that
keep it moving? Whatever.
Is that a lonely thing? No, I'm not sure.
No, it's not. No, but we don't. All right, now if you're basing your friendships on that. Yeah, you're probably gonna be lonely.
Yo, bro. Yes.
If you don't got nobody if you don't got no sandbox, if you don't have nothing that you can go back to, if you don't have concrete, a foundation of homies, a band of brothers, almost.
That's what we have to kind of sit and kind of put on the table,
right?
As far as the definition of it, right? So just because you oh yeah, I got such and such at work, this, that, and the third, whatever. Like, I mean, like,
that's not
homies.
Unless you
right?
pour into it and you make it that. If you commit yourself and you be like, yo, I like this dude, like, pause, whatever, but like, yo, I like this guy. He's really cool. And we talk and like,
men are not gonna do that.
Yo, if
it don't happen
his garage
naturally,
is the spot. If his garage is the spot, y'all watch the game there, y'all drink your beers there, and you could actually talk to him every once in a while when it gets kind of quiet about whatever's going on, and you could actually build something off of that. You can make that into a real long-lasting friendship.
No, you can, but like, right. Okay, it's a very important thing that you said, right? You gotta kind of build a deeper connection.
You have to build, yeah. You
understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And a lot of the times, we stay away from that as men.
Why? What? I don't understand that.
I think there are a lot of them are just based on proximity. I think a lot of just friendships are just rooted in proximity.
I grew up watching my father. Friends. My father had friends on friends on friends. He had so many friends. He had friends like
really real friends.
He had friends from back in Haiti when he came over. He had friends from when he first started working from Queens. He had friends from when he had friends here. He's a neighbor guy too. So he makes friends with all his neighbors. All of my neighbors were at my house every weekend, barbecuing, or we were at their house. He's in Florida now. He's had all his neighbors are there popping in, bringing food. He's over there. He's just the guy. And I don't even see it. I've never seen it happen. I've never seen how he does it. It's just, I don't even know if people gravitate to him, but he's never had a problem making friends.
Yeah.
Like he's a man that I've never had to worry about being lonely. He's always on the phone, checking on this one. And a little bit of that, I've learned that because like I kind of wanted that. Like his friends seeing me grow up. You know what I mean?
I hear
so
you.
It's like I learned to nurture my friends from that. He asked about my friends. You know, when I speak to him,
he's that type of guy.
How is this guy? How is this guy? How is his son? How is this guy? You know what I mean? So if you don't nurture your friends, you're not gonna have friends. There's anything in life, if you don't work on it, if you don't, you know, remember I had the conversation with you maybe like a year ago about a friend that moved away. And I just call him and I talked to him on his voicemail. He never called me back. Yeah. I'm just letting them know that, yo, dog, when you're ready to talk, I'm still here. Like there's nothing wrong. There's nothing. I'm just reaching out to just say what's up. Like, you know, and that's just the way you should kind of carry yourself if you want friends. I don't know.
I believe, like I said, initially, I feel like we're kind of jaded in the sense that we have friend groups, but I have people like I worry about my younger brother. Like it seems like he doesn't really have homies that I really see him with on a regular basis. I don't know. I couldn't tell you like who, that's my brother's best friend or something like that.
Did he play sports?
No, he didn't play sports. Sports.
That's one thing. That's a cheat code.
I heard he has like work friends and things like that. But I what I'm talking about is like, sandbox people he went to high school with, middle school with, and all that good stuff. And you know what I mean? And
if he was looking for him, somebody you could call and know where he might be at.
Exactly. I don't know nobody that other than my mother. That's it, right? I got an uncle. I have an uncle that's like, I think he's on the same trajectory as him. That's like, he's older. He's to himself, very, very quiet guy. He'll go vacation by himself, go somewhere, whatever. But I don't know any of his friends. Like my uncle that passed away, he was very social. He had a bunch of friends. You know what I mean? Like all over. I know somebody here, whatever. You know what I mean? And even when I look at my pops, right? My pops knows a lot of people, but do I know his true friends? I want to say the people that were his true friends that I've known when I was growing up, they passed away.
Yeah.
And it's like, all right, he doesn't seem like he's building, he's not like antisocial. But what I'm saying is that it's a difference between acquaintances or people that like, yo, I'm going to hang with such and such, such and such.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Mm.
This is my homie. And that's why I said we need to kind of pinpoint what it is, because people could be social and still be kind of lonely.
I think it's effort. I think it's wholly and completely on effort. I think it hinges completely on if you want to put the work in, if you want to be bothered.
Is there
everybody likes to be? I mean, no, that's crazy. Everybody does not like to be alone, but most people relish their alone time and their quiet time.
Yeah,
and it can be
sometimes,
kind of intoxicating.
Not all the time.
No, but it can be intoxicating. It can be really convenient to be by yourself.
All right. My question is it a bad thing to really not have friends like that? Because, people are very disappointing. People will disappoint the shit out of you. You understand what I'm saying? It's like, all right, well, I even put myself through it, right? In this day and age of modern dating and things like that, it can be very disappointing. And it's like, why even bother?
That's a half glass. That's a half empty way of looking at it. If you want to look at it half full, people are great, people grow, and why not be part of their story? Why not be part of their lives? Why not go to their weddings and their baby showers and their kids' birthday party and watch their family grow and be there with them and talk to them every step of the way, to have this story that you guys are kind of building on your own, your friends, the homies,
I guess so.
Let's watch a little bit more of the video.
Okay. Yeah, you can add it.
So when a breakup happens, women grieve, but they heal. And men, they often spiral. The thing is that men don't just feel lonelier, they are lonelier. They're less likely to reach out for emotional support, less likely to open up to friends, and way more likely to suffer in silence. And that's why you see so many men jumping into relationships they know aren't good for them, because it's not just about love, it's about survival. And loneliness is brutal, and they'll do anything to escape it. If you're a man and your girlfriend is the only person you emotionally rely upon, that's a problem. If your entire support system disappears the moment your relationship ends, that's a problem. Women are not your therapists, and relationships are not replacements for friendships. And if you don't start investing in real, meaningful connections outside of your love life, you'll find yourself stuck in a cycle of isolation, bad decisions, and relationships that feel more lifeless than love. Men, do better for yourselves. Build support systems, build friendships, open up, have real conversations. Because waiting until you're alone to realize you're lonely, that's a pain no relationship can fix. Men are struggling more than ever now. There is a...
She wrapped it up in a nutshell. Men do better. You know what I mean? Do better. Be more intentional. Do the work.
Okay, all right. But like, you see, you say
I don't know, bro. I don't know about that.
Like, come on, bro.
She ended it off kind of wild, man. I don't know.
Because the thing is, that sounds very woman-like, right?
I don't think any man is into his woman that much.
If it happens for a man, it happens organically.
Let me ask a question. Do you think a man and a woman getting into a relationship, a woman would prefer him not spending as much time with his friends?
For sure.
Absolutely.
That's where the trap is.
For sure.
That right there is where the trap is. Pleasing that woman, losing yourself within pleasing that woman is where your trap lies.
There's a fine line there, though.
Go ahead.
Because the fine line is like, all right, how your woman 9 times out of 10 is supposed to make you better, right? So her giving you like, maybe you shouldn't. Maybe I don't think she's gonna say don't hang with that person, but or maybe you shouldn't be doing that, right? Like you and your homeboys, let's go to the bar, let's drink. I'll drive home. I get a DW. Your woman, now you were single, you do that all the time.
Yeah, no question.
Your lady says, maybe not do that or whatever. That's not the best idea.
Where it should be, you know what? Maybe you should just take an Uber.
Yeah, but if John is the one that always wants you to go to the bar and he puts you at risk to, not saying don't hang with John, but like how about not going to the bar, right? Not going to the bar, right? So now the way you guys connect is kind of shut off indirectly, right? But you know, you're not drinking so much, that makes you better, right?
Yeah, I guess. Well, it makes you less social, but I guess it makes you.
You can still be social without drinking.
Well, then you're not there.
All
you're
right.
not going to the bar, then you're not there, and then you're not drinking. It's like what came first, the chicken or the egg? It's like if you're not there, then you're not drinking.
Well, you could.
So
if
drinking,
if you and John,
being
if you and
social-
John are really friends, right, and you have a deep connection,
Yeah.
y'all don't have to drink. Y'all could do something else. But
So maybe
a
you can
lot
send
of
her
the
home
times-
and invite John to the crib then,
yeah, you could do that also.
right? But God forbid that happens.
But John doesn't have a vagina, so it's like
You got to set your boundaries. I think men have a hard time setting boundaries in the beginning of the relationships, and women, I feel like, naturally do it. Women can pour into a relationship and just be all into it, and it's natural. When a man kind of does
it's
it, I feel
easier
like
for
it's
a
little
woman though.
strange. I guess so.
Like, because if a man
It's less
does,
pressure.
if a man does something like that, he's overbearing, and he's overbearing.
Mhm.
If a woman does it, she's trying to kind of make you better.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I've witnessed that with my father, right?
Mhm.
When he started, you know, my pops, he has a past, and he dealt with a lot of riffraff.
Mhm.
And a lot of the people that he, you know, in the past had a lot of riffraff going on.
Mhm.
But those are quote unquote supposed to be his friends, right?
You know,
So then
you-
all of a sudden,
You know you were 80s, babe. You talking about riffraff.
yeah. So when he gets with this new lady,
Mhm.
it's like, oh, maybe you shouldn't be dealing with the riffraff, right?
Yeah.
Which is a good thing to say, a good thing to do.
So does he have friends that are not riffraff?
He got a lot more riffraff friends than not.
He didn't do a good job picking friends.
Yeah,
It's like,
yeah.
you know,
So
that's on him.
So now
He ain't
it's
getting no
like
square friends.
now his friend group, like, you know what I mean? Like that's
Mhm.
what I said. Like I feel like he has a lot of associates, but his homies is like, I ain't you know, I'm moving away from that. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
I'm doing something different.
Yeah.
And those are people that actually we're talking about people that have friends or have relationships.
Mhm.
We take it for granted how easy we've built relationships with the people that we have because we had them for so long and we have so many friends to kind of like sift through.
Do we take it for granted? We don't take it for granted.
No, we
we
don't
work
necessar-
at it.
All
We
right,
work
no.
at it. We're
But
at our
think-
kids'
think-
birthday party. We're 2 weekends in a row. We're at birthday parties with our kids.
No.
And our kids' friends.
For sure.
We work at it. We show up and we show up to people's things, and we're there for them, and we talk to them. And even if we're not interested in what they're talking about in the group chat, we respond to it, and we call them to check up on them individually, and we talk to our friends. We work on our friends. We fertilize and we water the soil that produces the
All right.
friendship.
What about the person? Now, from the beginning of it,
Mhm.
you didn't have you have to nurture it after, like, but it sprouted out of the ground, out of, you know.
Yeah.
You didn't have to work on it at that point. You understand what I'm saying? Especially as kids can,
Nah,
you know what I
you
mean?
there,
You-
yeah.
and you,
But
you build on
you
it.
did have to work on it, because when you're out working on this kind of job, pouring yourself this, or this one is going to college and this one is doing this, and this one moves like to another borough, what's the common denominator, and bring it back? And honestly, there wasn't social media, which I kind of wanted to get to. I feel like social media is something that's hurting friendships now because of the false presumption that seeing somebody's pictures and maybe liking the pictures and maybe a comment is kind of keeping up with a friend. Like, a lot of people don't do that work of calling and seeing what's going on and checking on how their parents are doing and doing that work and how your kid is doing in school and what's going on. And, you know, they don't have those conversations. They just kind of see it in pictures and double tap for the like, and they kind of think what's going on. And really, when they look back at everything, it's kind of hollow.
It depends on the person.
Right.
Some people feel like, all right, that's enough. Like we interact on social media. That's fine.
Until you're trying to have a birthday party or a barbecue, and you know you kind of can't get anybody to show up.
It happens. It happens. But the point I was going to make was that, what about that person? And we've been in even as young kids, the people that have trouble making friends, people have that had trouble, or the dudes that had trouble with women, things like that. Like
it's effort. It's effort.
Yeah,
effort.
yeah. I guess it's
effort.
effort, but it's
effort.
But I honestly, like, you say effort, but I don't see.
Get out of your head.
No,
join the sport.
no.
Play baseball.
That's what
play
okay.
something. You're not
That's what I'm saying. It didn't come easy. It wasn't difficult.
What do you mean it wasn't difficult?
Making friends wasn't difficult. It's not difficult.
But
it wasn't difficult for me. Let me just say, for me personally.
Right.
Yeah. I played sports all my life.
Yeah.
Right. So build connections.
But that person
like
that just want to sit home on a computer or sit home and not do anything, and I'm not athletic, and it gets in their head, I'm not doing this, I'm not doing that. If you're sitting in the house all day, every day, what do you expect? Yeah, you could be around a certain group of people at school or at work or whatever, but when you leave those things, if you're not doing anything extracurricular, if you're a grown man and you don't have friends, what are you doing for yourself? Like, what groups are you active with? Like, are you going anywhere? Are you going to the, I don't know. I see old dudes at McDonald's kicking it in the morning. You know what I'm saying? Like, with the newspapers and all that. Even the old dudes are kicking. I see old dudes at the park just sitting there with the newspaper. People, you find community. Like, you find people. You'll find somebody. Like, you know, I mean, it does get harder the older you get. I'm not going to say that because it gets weirder. Being like, but I really think it's easier for men to make friends.
I think it's possible for people to be out and be social and still be lonely, right?
Be out and be social and still be
like
lonely.
you say you see old dudes in McDonald's, right?
Yeah,
they might go to McDonald's and they kick it with some guys, but then they go home to a lonely ass house and nobody's there.
Yeah,
and they do feel lonely. See, and we just take for granted, like, oh, if you got somebody to speak to, or you saw somebody today, or you got a family member, like, nah, you're not lonely.
Well, that's who we should be worried about. That's who I envision is lonely. Maybe like a widower or like a widow that their spouse died, and maybe, you know, the grandkids are like older and they're busy. You know, your kids have families, and you're like, no one's kind of thinking about you. Maybe that person is lonely, but like a young person in their 20, 25, like a young guy, go to the gym. Like, you could go somewhere, be around people, spot somebody at the bench, go and do something, get around people, just figure it out. I don't know. I don't know. I don't know.
It's just easy for GB.
No, it's not. Well, listen,
you just go to the gym, like, oh, you want this? Can I spot you? Like, you don't do no shit like that. Why are you saying some shit that you don't do? Yeah,
someone spotted me today. Someone, you could ask for a spot.
What, you were struggling or something like that? And they said, they look like you need help?
I got them 2 plates up, nigga. Yeah, I asked him, like, he was waiting on the joint. I'm like, get these 2 plates up, big nigga.
He asked you.
No, I asked him. No, he was waiting for the bench.
And you said, can you spot me?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Oh, man.
But that didn't ultimately, like, make y'all friends, right? So it's really not enough.
Like, you real strong, homie. Can I be your friend? Can I be your friend, you man? I think it's effort. What are your final words on it? Got some stats here too.
Yeah. Let's talk about it. Yeah.
1 in 4 men in the U.S. report feeling lonely at least once a week. What kind of stat is that? Jerk off. 1 in 4 men. 1 in 4 men in the U.S. report feeling lonely at least once a week. What kind of that's the bullshit stat?
No. You got see. This is what I'm trying. This is what I'm trying to say. I'm trying to say, like, men, they don't really have any type of avenues to really get deep, right? To really express themselves, to talk, to speak to anybody. They don't have deep connections with people. So that's where I feel like the loneliness, like, this is what I'm saying. Like, people could be out and be social with other people, but they are lonely in a sense because they don't really have no deep connections. And I feel like the fact that women are more vulnerable, a woman could see a woman that she don't know, and she see them like, oh, girl, I've been going through it. I just broke up with my boyfriend or whatever. They'll spill the shit like that.
No, but
right?
we got covered that. Like, even like, all right, the young dude at the job. You know what I mean? And he'll talk to, you know what I mean? He'll talk to me, or at least a little bit, like, yo, wife be giving a little trouble or whatever. You know what I mean? And impart a little wisdom on him and to talk to him. But I mean, I don't consider him a friend unless he needed it. You know what I mean? But I don't know if you feel like a friend needs somebody, but you could talk to somebody. You could open up to somebody.
All right,
during a quiet moment.
That and what will probably happen, or what could happen, is that I don't think he has trouble. He might not have trouble. He doesn't have no friends, right? But then he may view your relationship more of a mentor, friend, or whatever, this, that, and the third, right?
Yeah.
Depending on how it all went. And that may actually transform into a friendship.
Right.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because
if I needed a friend, I would just reach out more and just small talk. And it's like, yo, I'm doing this thing on Saturday. Yo, pull up if you ain't doing nothing. Then all of a sudden your friend shows up, and then all of a sudden, like, you got a friend now. And it's like, okay.
Yeah.
This next thing. And then it's like, all right, now we got a friend. Like, it's like just being a friend.
Okay.
It's like
the thing is, most people are not going to be that vulnerable with other men, right?
I think that's a misconception too, or we're outliers too, right?
So you telling me all your deep, darkest shit you tell all your friends?
Nah, come on now. Deep dark stays close to the vest now. Come on now. But I don't need to go out. But if you need to vent about something, or you need to talk about something,
is it everybody, or is there select? Is there select?
I think there's different strokes for different folks.
Yeah, there's certain friends you might get deeper with than others.
Yeah,
you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but there are some people that don't have that at all. Especially time is a very big factor on how serious a relationship or a friendship is with a person.
Okay,
that's one of the main factors, right? How much time we've been around the person. So with that, we might feel like, yeah, I could speak to this person about this, that, and the third.
That's what I'm saying.
Imagine meeting a new friend. You're not gonna dump on that person early.
No, if you're not fair to
most
him.
Most men don't do that.
Nah, but you could, give advice, or how do you think, you could, I don't know. It doesn't have to be weird, but it doesn't have to be. You just be cool. I think it's real easy with dudes, especially dudes that like sports. It's super easy.
But that's not real.
Something in common.
I don't think that's real, bro.
What's not real?
That's not like a real deep connection.
It'll get there. Like you said, time, right?
Yeah.
Once you put enough time in with somebody, you could consider that person a friend. Once you've seen this person in different situations, you've seen them interact in certain things, and loneliness is not just. We're only talking about the men aspect of it. I'm not a man that has women friends, but people have women friends too.
Yeah.
I don't really subscribe to that much, but
Let's read some more stats. And I get that 1 out of 4 men may feel lonely here or there.
Middle-aged men, ages 35 to 55, are the highest risk of chronic loneliness, especially after major life transitions like divorce, job loss, or kids moving out. Men are less likely to reach out for emotional support. Only about 1 in 3 men say they feel comfortable sharing personal struggles with friends.
I think that's one of the main things, right? I think a lot of the times that the masculinity part of men, part of men, it stops us from being vulnerable with our homies.
Right.
And like I said before, like, you got friend groups that they friends, but they're competing. They compete. You understand what I'm saying?
That's weird, weirdo nigga shit. I don't.
Yeah, right.
Let me give you something that supports my argument. Men often socialize shoulder to shoulder, not face to face, meaning friendships are built around shared activities, not emotional connection, making it harder to open up. Where it's like women will go to lunch, men will go to Buffalo Wild Wings and watch the game. So you're up, you're shoulder to shoulder, you're watching something, as opposed to women are face to face with that connection. But I feel like once you're there and you're spending time and everything like that, during that quiet moment, enough time, bro, man, I'm having a little trouble. I'm having a little trouble with this drinking, or I'm having a little trouble with my kid, or my wife is, you know what I mean, bugging me to do this one thing. What do you think I should do? Like, you know, anything. You start bouncing, you know, things off of people, and there you go. You got some advice, you know? If you respect that person. Now, you could be friends with somebody that you were like, I don't, you know.
I'm not sure if it's a respect thing.
You're not going to ask or confide in someone you don't really care about what they have to say about it.
No, for sure. But then there's some people you might respect that person, but it's like, yeah, I don't know if I'm gonna tell you my business though. I got respect for you, but I ain't gonna, you know, I don't want you to know what's going on in my crib. You understand what I'm saying? I don't want you to know what's going on with my, you know, like, yeah, I'm gonna keep that.
Well,
you know?
I don't want you to see me vulnerable.
Yeah.
What if I don't give a fuck about what you got to say?
Well, yeah, that's something different.
That's a whole other thing, right? Okay,
yeah, that's something different.
All right. So let me see what else we got here so we can wrap it up. Online relationships and social media don't reduce loneliness. They can sometimes make it worse if they lack depth. Online relationships and social media don't necessarily reduce loneliness. They can sometimes make it worse if they lack depth. That's what we said.
That's what I'm saying. Like, yo, people can be social. They can be social, but still be lonely.
Right.
They could be kicking with everybody on Instagram or whatever, but they got to come home and be by themselves.
Right.
They really, you know, like that's on the surface stuff.
Right.
And again, I believe it's more about having deeper connections, right? Mm-hmm. Most of your friends, even if you haven't divulged something like crazy secretive about yourself to them,
right,
you've been in a situation where it's like, yeah, I know that's my homie. We had a fight together. We did this. We was with these chicks together. You know, all this stuff. It depends on what the situation is. Where it's like, all right, that person fought with me. That person holds my secrets. That person this, that, and the third. It may not. It doesn't have to be like, yo, you told me you got this, that, and the third, or whatever, or you about to lose your crib or some shit like that, or you broke as hell. You don't have to tell me all that, but we've been in situations where I've proven, or that person's proven, like, yo, we're really truly friends.
Yeah.
So that's where it kind of gets a little bit deeper for men, where it's like, all right, I know I could trust this person. That this person had my back. This person did this, that, and the third. You know what I mean? So when it comes down to just being social, it's on the surface. We've never tested each other to really say that we're really good friends, more than associates. Okay. You know what I mean? And I think that, yeah, you could still be lonely, even if you're mad popular on social media.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I think we're good on that, man.
Before we go, though.
Go ahead.
Please, just don't tell people, just give them some real advice for, like, because I really feel like there are young men, there are middle-aged men that are like really without like a friend group, or really friends, or that really on some lonely shit.
You got to touch grass, yo. That's all I got for you. You got to touch grass. You got to get outside the house. You got to get somewhere. You have to get around humans. You got to get around people. You have to get around people some way, for whatever you're into, go to the real version of that. If you're into video games, go to GameStop. If you are into comic books, go to Comic-Con. Join communities, join forums, go to those meetups. Every forum has meetups. Go to those things. You know, meet that person that you've been talking to online. Go to the park. If you study, if you're into the books or whatever, find a study partner. Find something. If you're in school and you get like super focused, if you go to the gym, go to the gym. If you played ball, go to the rec and get some run. Like, touch grass. Nothing replaces human to human contact. That's the only advice I have for you.
Okay.
The real thing. You can't simulate it.
Enough said, man. All right. So what we jumping into?
The next joint we got, right?
Picking battles?
Yeah.
All right, we're gonna talk about picking battles in relationships. Small clip from, I don't know who this person is, but shout out to that person, and we'll give them credit in the show notes. when we put this out.
In the Bible, it talks about a nagging wife is annoying. Y'all don't know that it says that a nagging wife is annoying. So even though, your spouse may be doing something wrong, or the person you're with may be doing something wrong, you have to think of creative ways to kind of come to a better solution instead of being on their case. So when I say arguing, I think that's what I'm working on is, picking and choosing my battles. I think that's like, I have to learn that, like how to pick and choose my battles. Because not everything needs to be a big deal.
I don't. If I'm not gonna choose my battles on this one. I don't think a nagging wife is annoying is in the Bible. I'm just gonna say that. I don't think those words are in the Bible.
I can't confirm or deny. I have no idea.
Nagging wife is annoying.
Yeah.
The nagging wife is annoying. Can you run that clip one more time, Cool?
Spouse may be doing something wrong, or the person you're with may be doing something wrong. You have to think of creative ways to kind of come to a better solution instead of being on their case. So when I say arguing, I think that's what I'm working on is, picking and choosing my battles. I think that's like, I have to learn that, like how to pick and choose my battles. Because not everything needs to be a big deal. Because I know in the Bible it talks about a nagging wife is annoying.
When she said, I know where sometimes my scene where your spouse or the person you're with is doing something wrong. That's the mindset that's broken.
What with
people
who or women?
Can't pick their battles. People, no, we have men, I know men who cannot pick their battles. Every little thing. It's just everything is deemed wrong. Like you're nitpicking. This is the wrong thing to do. Instead of just coexisting with this person and knowing that this person has their quirks and has their things to them. And if you choose to be with them, you're going to accept this person for who they are, within your own boundaries, But once you've accepted the fact that you're going to be with this person is doing something wrong. It's not, this kind of crazy. Like, I don't know. It's kind of, you're almost looking for a fight when you're saying that.
Well, and you're talking about people that don't really pick their battles. Everything is.
I'm talking about people who don't pick their battles. Something wrong should be a very short list. It should be like infidelity. It should be like blowing some money. It should be like a handful of things that are something that's wrong. Everything else should just be something passing by or a glance or something like that, or hey, you think you could work on that, or you think you could pick that. It shouldn't be. And like
you feel like men do that?
There are men that do that. There are men who nitpick. We're not gonna do that. We know there are men that nitpick. We've nitpicked. We've been in every man has been in a little bit of a funk or like a little bit of a mold.
What's a nitpick?
A nitpick is for a man, maybe it's like a nitpick could be anything. A nitpick could be, I don't know.
Cool. What's a nitpick
right now?
What a man nitpick?
A nitpick in general.
I don't know. Let's say you come in and maybe the house is not exactly the way you want it to be. That's nitpicking, but more so than being like, clean up around here, make sure things you're like, oh, every time I come in, it's like this, or just kind of.
I feel like
that's
women.
No. You answer the question. You answer the question too.
Yeah, huh?
What's a nitpick? You give them.
I don't. I really don't feel like. All right. Let me just say, I'm generally speaking.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm generally speaking. I'm not saying that all men are like this, right? I think.
Oh, man nitpick. You didn't specify.
No, I'm talking about men and women though. But I'm saying I think men are more macro and women are more micro, right? And when you use the term pick your battles, like a lot of the stuff that women complain about, I'm not sure if it's a battle per se. It's more of a nitpick, right? And I think when a man gets to the point where it's like, yo, I gotta say something, right? Then it's a battle,
right?
Because it's like, all right, first of all, like a man will let something happen a few times and then be like, yo, all right, I gotta bring this to your attention, right? A woman be like,
oh hell no.
It'd be like early. It'd be like, yo, the first time, like, I don't like that. I don't like that you did whatever, right?
Yeah.
And that's not a battle to me. It's like, all right, you brought it to my attention or whatever, and I don't really think it's a big deal, but it's like, all right. That's why I'm saying, as far as picking your battles, I don't think women really pick their battles. You know what I mean? Like, I don't think, well, unless, all right, and I could be dead ass wrong. You know, they probably do. They probably have so much shit that they don't even say nothing about, right? Maybe. Like maybe men do so much shit that's bad, that's wrong, not even bad, but wrong in their eyes and they just overlook it, and then maybe they bring it to your attention, but then even when they bring it to your attention and they let it pass so many times, it'd be like, all right, that's not really a big deal to argue about anyway. So that's why I don't feel like, I think it's more of a nag or like a pestering type of thing than
that's a nag
battle.
and a nitpick. That's that's a brother and sister. Like it's the same thing. A nag is a nitpick. A nitpick is, it's almost like a constant little thing. Don't eat there. Put that back over there. Did you find it? Like, did that? It's almost like a pestering, and it's a constant pestering, and it's like, let's not hear your voice so much. Like, let's not do too much of that. And men are just either ignore it or correct it or just, fix it. But it's like the women are more vocal about it. Maybe they feel like they're just nipping it in the bud right away, or they're like, maybe they feel like they could almost train us if they could.
Yes.
You know what I mean? If they could just keep saying it.
There's a hierarchy to this shit, right? Because when I think about it, right, I just thought about it just now, right? You know who I do nitpick with? My kids, right? And then my wife nitpicks with me. So I'm on the level of the kid, just like, with the kids, right?
Yeah.
I don't do that. I don't nitpick with her, right? But I do with my kids. Right. I ain't gonna lie to you. I'd be like, yo, clean something.
What makes you want to nitpick with your kids?
Because all right. Maybe it's not a nitpick, right? But they are just so used to not doing nothing. They don't clean up after themselves. Like my son could literally eat and he'll leave his plate and just walk off with his iPad. Leave all his shit on the table. Okay. I'd be like, yo, come get your shit, bro. Yeah. Put it in the sink. Clean your plate off. Yeah. It'd be like, yo.
Because if he never did it and you never corrected it and you just picked up the plate after him and put it in the sink, he would never know that that's wrong.
Yeah.
So what makes it wrong when a woman does it to us if we do the same thing? If we're constantly leaving our plate out.
I guess you're right.
Honestly, that's why I try not to do it at all. I treat people the way I want to be treated. There's certain things I just let rock because I don't want to be spoken about it. Like my daughter, she's a little younger, but she could, I don't bother her about staying up because I stay up. You know what I mean? So it's like, but clean up after yourself because I clean up after myself. I treat people the way I want to be treated. So I don't really get on the kids as much. Like I don't get on the kids if I don't want to be spoken to. That's that same way. Because I feel like the house senses it, The house creates that pecking order. And once it's already happening, but that's just, little thing here and there. But let's escalate it now. Let's talk about battles now.
Okay.
Let's talk about someone stayed out a little later than what they were supposed to stay out.
Okay.
Or someone was a little inconsiderate with like a move that they made or something like that. Spent a little extra money or something like that. is it always supposed to be a thing? Is it always supposed to be a battle? Like, there are people that want to like go into situations and they want to argue about something. And my whole thing was with the pick your battle things. It's like, it can get ugly sometimes. And why let it get that ugly?
You talking about men or women?
I'm talking about across the board. Let's talk about men and women.
I hate to keep asking that question.
No, because I know men that do it. I know men who cannot pick their battle.
I know men that. No, I know men that.
I've been there. I've been the person that been like, you know what? I'm in a little bit of a rut. I'm tight about. I'm aggy, and you know.
No, I know dudes that will like. They'll start an argument with their significant other or whatever, and they might nitpick or they'll like go, they'll
or even the fight back, even if it's a nitpick, and then you buck up at the nitpick. Like a lot of time with the nitpick, we get okay, all right, we're gonna do it. But sometimes be like, yo, rah, we show our teeth.
Mm-hmm.
You can't show our teeth every time.
Yeah. I think
that's part of picking your battle too.
Yeah.
Go with the flow.
That's okay. This is should it go both ways?
Yes. I think you should treat people the way you want to be treated.
All right. So
if you don't want people nitpicking with you, you shouldn't nitpick with that person. Because trust me, everybody can find something. Nobody's perfect. You ever see those memes with the it's like a woman in the bathroom and she has a thing, oh, my husband leaves his stuff all over the bathroom, it's so messy, and then it pans up to her sink and it's like full of like cosmetics, and it's like, come on, like like everything has a place until it's your things, right?
Well, I ain't gonna lie to you, man. Like I think that's sort of like the imbalance of
it shouldn't be like that.
Men versus women, where it's like, first of all, like we talked earlier, right? It's not really no fair. It's not no balance of like 50-50. Like, yo, you could do this and I could do that, and we certain things that apply to men don't apply to women.
If you don't want to be treated like that, you shouldn't be treating people like that. If I come home and I've had a shitty day, I shouldn't take it out on you, because if I do that back to you, if you do that back to me, I'm not going to be able to understand that. Pick your battle.
All right, so that's the thing. But as men, as men, right? We never want to be characterized as over emotional.
Yeah.
So we we're more passive. Certain things that might agitate a woman wouldn't even, it's not even worth a conversation for most men.
I wouldn't say passive. I think we're more.
Let me not say
black and white.
Yeah. This is what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Micro and macro.
Yeah.
It's like, all right, it's not big enough for me to really go in. I'm not arguing about that shit.
Yeah.
Whereas like a woman may be like, what, you didn't clean this or whatever? You didn't clean the toilet or some shit like that?
It'd be yes, honey, yes, money.
Yeah.
Until it's like, yo, you fucking stink. You know what I mean? And then you go, and then you're gonna end up apologizing anyway. So
yeah.
Pick your battles. So pick your battles. But it goes, of course, everywhere. Like in the gray area with the women and men in the micro and macro. You should correct the behavior early, because you should communicate and be like, yo, listen, just a little too much talking. I'm not gonna come at you like that. You shouldn't be coming at me like that early in the relationship. So set those boundaries. If you talk about it early, it shouldn't be a problem.
Oh, okay. I got a question, right?
All the time.
I'm just thinking about this, where it's like, because people say it, and I thought about it. I'm thinking about it, like, yo, are like men in relationships, marriages and shit like that, are they really simp niggas? You know what I mean? Simps. I didn't mean to say the N word.
Simp is a strong word. Simp is a very strong word. I think we're domesticated. I wouldn't say simp. No, simp is a strong word.
It's a nicer. Domesticated is just a nicer word.
I think simp is derogatory. I think we learn how to coexist with the opposite sex. Sex.
If you say, "Oh, he's a domesticated man," that wouldn't be bad.
Yo, he knows how to change a diaper. He can make a dinner for his family. He can it's not a bad thing. It's not the worst thing in the world. He could do homework. He could pick up the kids from school, feed them, and get them showered and get them into bed. It's not the worst thing in the world. Our dad's gonna do it. My dad couldn't do that.
I'm saying, but you would like use the terminology.
I wouldn't use it. I wouldn't say simp. It doesn't make you a bad thing. A simp, I think, is a sucker. I think a simp is a sucker. I think a domesticated man is fine.
I don't think it has anything to do when I'm saying it has nothing to do with the duties that you were just talking about, right? I'm just talking about like when you say, "Oh, I have," like when you say like a woman is nitpicking and you like, yes, dear, I'll do it, I'll fix it or whatever, this, that, and the third, and like this is not really a big deal, right? But I'm being reprimanded, and I'm just taking it as if,
because like you said with your children, like you said, like sometimes you are wrong. And it's fine to just admit that you're wrong. When you're wrong, just admit you're wrong.
Sometimes you are wrong.
If you left your socks out, if you left your clothes in the bathroom or whatever, and she asked you to pick it up,
sometimes you're wrong, but sometimes you're not really. It's not a right or wrong thing.
Okay.
Sometimes it's about how people want shit done. You understand what I'm saying?
You left the bag of garbage out and the raccoons tore it open. Maybe you should hear about it a little bit. Like, now there's garbage all over the yard.
Okay.
Why you ain't put in the can? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know, it's not like, yo, you dumbass, why you ain't put it? It's like, hey, the garbage is out, you know what I mean? Like you left the garbage out and, you know, the raccoons ate it up and now there's banana peels in the yard. It's talking. It's not the word. Pick your battles, bro. Like, it's not that serious. It ain't that serious. And it goes both ways. What's the number one thing men battle about?
Sex.
Yeah. Frequency. We on their ass on that.
Not really. I don't think so.
Okay.
Women control that too.
That's why we on their ass on it.
What? But you would have to literally complain like a woman would complain about.
Squeaky wheel gets the oil, right? Closed mouth don't get fed.
I think sex is way more important than, all right, you forgot to put the clothes from the washer into the dryer.
That ain't my job. I don't know.
You know what I mean? Like something like that.
Pay someone to do that shit. I don't know. That's when I could it could go left quick, depending on what gets said to me. That's the thing. I'm gonna pick my battles, but when I push that button, I'm going nuclear.
So that would, something like that would have you like,
yeah. If you like on me about domesticated duties, I'm pushing the button.
Oh, so you don't expect to do none of that?
We can hire a maid. We can get a maid. I'll pay for a maid.
Okay. All right. I get it.
How much think a living maid costs?
Legal or illegal?
Illegal. 5 days a week.
5 days a week?
Weekends off. Living
in your crib?
Live in your crib. You have the quarters for them. How much illegal? How much think a maid costs?
$400 a week?
Nah, come on. That's not.
What?
Everybody would have one. That should be like the robots, nigga.
Ew, bro.
$400 a week ain't shit, nigga.
$400 a week, bro.
To have someone like cook and clean and do everything for you?
Yeah, and they get free room and board and shit?
Yeah, I ain't thinking about that part. 400. Nah, 400 seems light, bro.
Yeah, I was gonna say maybe $500, $100 a day.
I'm saying the stack.
Somebody
saying a stack a week.
A stack for somebody that's illegal?
Yeah.
And you probably paying them under the table?
It's almost like they're your slave. Like a $400 a week to be your slave is crazy. Cool. Where you at with it?
You paying a slave $1,000 a week?
I don't know. But 400 seems really, really, really cheap to have a living maid. How much do you think a living maid costs?
Oh boy.
You be the tiebreaker. Then we'll talk about something else.
Heard of 4, heard of 5. What else I hear?
He said 1,000.
I said 1,000.
1,000.
Yeah. Monday to Friday, live in, cook, clean.
And they stay in the they could stay at your crib.
Yeah.
Saturday and Sunday.
The
They don't got to do shit on Saturday and Sunday.
No, they leave Saturday and Sunday. They go back to wherever they going. They go home to their family on Saturday Sunday.
So okay, this maid is responsible for cooking and cleaning?
Yes.
Monday through Friday. What's the hours?
No, they're living 24 hours.
Okay.
Yeah, if I want a turkey sandwich after the podcast.
Yeah, about a grand.
No,
Grand
you
is
ain't
reasable.
No.
I'm
you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not. No, you're not.
Can you make me a Miracle Whip the way you like? Please and thank you. I'm gonna watch you with Miracle Whip on it, yo. Please.
No. Okay. Well, let's see.
No. They have hours. They have hours.
Well, they have to have hours.
When the kids get up, kids get breakfast. The family gets breakfast. Everybody goes off to work, to school, whatever. They home during the day. They clean up for a little bit.
Okay.
And then they wait till you come back and they have dinner ready.
Now with that, the way you described it, maybe five and some change.
I'm telling you.
Now,
$500 a week. Especially a chick that's from Caribbean or something like that, or South America.
If you had a 2 and 3-year-old and it didn't go to daycare. So why wouldn't people do that instead of daycare?
Yo, to pay somebody
if you have a 2 and 3-year-old,
$500 a week, two grand, right? $2,000 a month.
To have an extra bedroom and have somebody, that's crazy.
Pay all your bills, right? Pay all your bills, pay your mortgage, pay your car notes, your car insurance, pay for your daycare, all that shit like that, right?
Well, he said no daycare. Well, if they stay,
it's gonna be more money if it's no daycare.
It's gonna be less money if there's no daycare.
No, it's gonna be more money.
No,
if there's no
if
daycare.
they taking care of a baby all day,
if there's daycare, then it's more money.
It's less money. Because they don't got to do shit during the day, but get dinner ready.
You paying more money.
Well, okay, what I'm saying is that they're the daycare. If they have to provide daycare.
It'll probably be cheaper than sending them to daycare along with the maid, yeah.
If the maid has to provide daycare, then it's going to be more money that I'm paying the maid.
Yeah,
right?
for sure.
That's what I'm saying.
Yes.
That's what we're saying. Okay.
Yeah.
We're on the same page. Okay. All right.
Yeah, bro. I'm telling you.
Get a maid. You don't want no fight. Argue with the maid.
You think them people that, first of all, like if it's an illegal person, they are not getting no $1,000 a week. You would have to be living. You would have to be some rich family or something like that, getting $1,000 a week.
You'd be surprised, yo, because when I was in the residential side of the game, I used to be in a lot of people's homes. A lot of people have live-in people with them, especially with the young children. And it's not even just like the Brookvilles and everything like that. It'd be like Syosset. It'd be like regular. It'd be people with townhouses.
Yeah.
Yes. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You really live in and what national? What are they? What countries are the base from?
Anything from Hispanic. They could be from the West Indies. African.
They're probably taking care of that. They're probably dealing with the kid. They're probably not cleaning up and doing extra stuff like that. It's probably one or the other.
Yeah, it could be one.
Bro, they getting paid like $100 a day.
Nice. See, you put sauce on it.
What?
You making it mad cheaper, yo.
Yo, bro.
Man.
Bro, you could probably get a regular. You can probably get a regular fucking butler or something like that for $1,000 a week.
Yo, I wonder if these words are derogatory. Like, you can't use words like that anymore. Is like
what?
Butler or maid like a bad word now?
No, it's not like you call him a slave. You call him a slave.
I know. I'm looking for They're gonna pick your battles. All right.
I'm telling you.
Yo,
you can get probably a Caribbean woman or something, Spanish woman, $500 a week. Off the books.
That oxtail cracking. Oxtail on a Tuesday and your bed is made, nigga. That's worth the $400. Yo, let me ask you a question, man. We live in America, land of the free, home of the brave. Democracy. Everybody has the freedom of their own opinion and the freedom of speech. It just feels like right now we're at like an all-time low of patriotism.
Yeah.
And it's like, it's kind of a little annoying because it kind of seems like people aren't being team players at all.
Yo, bro,
And it's kind of like, I don't know. I'm kind of like, it's kind of like I'm just having the thought. Like I've been having the thought for a while now. And what really kind of brought it over the top was that meme that like China put out with like overweight Americans making like bras and panties and stuff like that and everything like that. And everybody was like, look, this is what China thinks of us. And I'm like, who gives a fuck what they think of us? Like, they're making fun of us for what they people do. For fucking nothing. There's like, they treat their people like shit, and they're like, yo, look, you're overweight and you're gonna do it. And like Americans are like, yeah, they're talking about us. Dude, that could be us. And I'm like, yo, fam, like, okay, like your team lost, whoever team lost, but it feels like everybody's like taking a dump on the whole establishment.
Because they don't like they don't like the dude. That's all that is. That's all it is. They don't like the dude, right? And like you said, like people that are doing it, you gotta understand, you're American.
Yeah,
you're American.
Like,
so
they
it's
rather
like,
shit on American. I'm even hearing like a whole bunch of talk like civilization's fall, like Rome ended. It's like, yo, the great American empire is ending, and it's like, yo, fam, enough. Like, what are you talking about? Like,
yeah,
maybe I'm just wrong. Maybe I'm, but it's just I don't know. Yeah, it's a tough time right now.
Okay, so this whole thing about tariffs and things like that.
It sucks.
All right.
It's scary.
But people, you know what I never heard? What I never heard is Americans putting the other countries on the hot seat, right?
Ever.
To say, yo, all right, well, since you make so much money off of us, why you gotta raise the prices on us? Why don't you just make less money?
Yeah.
Right? But people will be like, oh, he fucked it up and they're gonna charge us more money or whatever. But the companies, they're not saying we're not making any money.
They're saying we're gonna charge you more.
They're gonna charge you more so they can keep the same margins that they already have.
Yeah.
Right? But it's like, all right, if let's just say we'll use China, for example. If they manufacture something that they send over to the United States of America, what happens if there's a product on the shelves and it's not moving? It goes on sale, right? The price goes down.
Exactly.
So I think what this dude's plan is, because we don't have an infrastructure to be like, let's just start manufacturing everything here. We don't have it, right?
Yeah.
So I think the plan is to like, all right, once you stop, because trust and believe, it's not like if we don't get, let's say, Chinese products, whatever, we're gonna fucking starve, or we're gonna, like, we don't have a certain TV or something like that. Like, yo, I'm gonna die or something like that. No,
for a little while.
Yeah, we could kind of like bite the bullet for a little while, and eventually they'd be like, all right, since our shit is not moving, we got to charge less for it.
Yeah.
But people don't want to wait. They don't want to be inconvenienced. That's the problem. Being like us as Americans, we've been really so spoiled,
whiny, and it's to the point where it's like, yo, you rather just be anti-American. Like, I've never seen it. I've seen people. You could be critical. You're more than fine to be critical. You could even boycott, or you could even march in the streets and protest.
And he was like, I gotta drive an American car? Oh my God. Like, what the?
But to be like, yo, these other countries are so much greater than us, and we, and it's like, yo, come on. I don't know. I just feel like
they say that, right?
Like, really.
But there's so much, if they're greater, right? Because they're getting your money.
Right.
They're able to come to your country and sell shit to you, and you spend your money, and they take it right back over there and make their country greater.
Yeah.
Right. I'm not advocating for anything or whatever. I'm just trying to, in layman's, explain the plan. It's like, all right, keep the money here. It's the same thing that black people should be doing anyway.
You ain't lying.
What the thing is, black folks should take heed, and what he's doing is what black communities should do.
How so?
To try to keep the money in the community.
How that work? How would it?
Because you stop buying the shit.
No, but no. How would what would they stop buying?
All right, we were talking about if tariffs come in the prices go up.
Yeah.
And we say, all right, I'm not buying that shit for that price. I'm letting that shit sit.
Right.
Same way, and if you got other communities and you're having businesses in your community and you don't have representation in your community, don't support that. Yeah. That business.
All right.
Open up your own.
Yeah.
You could open up your own convenience store. You can open up your own, these folks got money. They got all these dudes, all these men and women, they got a bunch of money, black people or whatever. All the, the black women got all the degrees and they making all the money or whatever like that.
Right.
We should be able to do certain things in our own communities
and put something together.
Yeah.
And
You know what I mean? So
absolutely.
If we got all that, why can't we, you know what I mean? So the same way that we should treat these the tariff thing, and if they want to start increasing prices and make us pay for the tariffs that they're getting charged, all right, say we're not buying that shit. Now, you don't have to buy a fucking flat screen TV that's Chinese or whatever, or you don't have to buy a car or whatever else they manufacture, whatever electronics.
Right now, because plan, you know that it's about to go up. If you're about to make a purchase, do it now, and just know, like, it's gonna get hairy for a little while, and just roll with the punches and
trust and believe. When a country sees like they're gonna be sacrificing trillions of dollars of their GDP because they export so much shit over here and we not buying it, they're gonna lower those prices. And I think that's what this dude's bet is, that they're gonna lower it because it's just supply and demand. It's just economics. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if we have the discipline to be like, all right, we're not gonna buy it. We just won't buy the shit.
That's all I'm telling. Like, that's what my family's planning on doing. It. We're planning on not necessarily a hardship, but listen, if something's getting a little too goofy, we just not doing it. If it's too outright, like your ex got crazy, we cut back on him.
Yo,
you know what I mean, I'm not gonna be Kanye said a lot of things. Kanye says a lot of things, but one thing that did resonate with me is when he said slavery is a choice. And a lot of people were up in arms when he said it, and you could look at it that way. It could definitely be harmful, and but when he said it, I looked at it like, to be a slave to something that you have control over is your choice. And that's what I took away from that. And
I get what you're saying.
Yeah, we got this hairy conversation. Mindful of a conversation. One last thing in closing. Pop the Balloon debuted this week on Netflix. The popular show that was on Netflix, that was on YouTube, hosted by the husband and wife.
Yeah.
Hosted by the wife and produced by the husband.
Yes.
They actually sold. I got some stats on it here. I got some actual things on it here. Let me see. The viral dating show Pop the Balloon has transitioned from YouTube to Netflix with the live weekly format. So it's like live and it's weekly now. The Netflix version, titled Pop the Balloon Live, premiered April 10th and it airs Thursdays at 8 p.m. Now it's hosted by the actress from Insecure, Yvonne Orji.
I like her on Insecure. I don't really like her on anything else, though.
I like the host from YouTube. I felt like they should have kept her.
They should have kept her.
She's wholesome. She's nice. She's demure. She's just like she reminds me of someone's wife, of a friend of mine's wife. Like, she's not. I even watch her sometimes interact with the men. It's never like eye contact. It's never rhythm. It's never, the men never flirt with her. It's a nice. I mean, some people don't like the show because they feel like it's, harmful or whatever. I don't mind it. You know what I mean? I like the way they carry themselves. They're dressed nice, and I like it. But they get to keep their show on YouTube.
Okay.
And they executive produced this show.
Okay.
But the Netflix show is getting a little backlash because
they said it's like kind of whitewashed.
It's kind of whitewashed. It's very whitewashed.
Really?
Well,
you
once you said it, I saw clips of it, and I saw some dude twerking. There are people from different ethnicities.
Okay.
And then there was one girl that was black, and she was kind of acting extra ratchet. It was only the first episode. We'll see what happens. There hasn't been any like homosexual versions or anything like that yet. That'll,
Yeah, it can go so many different ways.
It can go so many ways. I said all that to ask you, How do you feel about people selling their IPs or leasing their IPs, intellectual properties?
I don't see anything wrong with it because I feel like pop culture is so trendy. Something that is popular this year, 5 years from now, might be extinct.
Yeah.
So
we're seeing a lot of things.
It's like get your bread when you can.
Get your bread.
And at least they get to do their own joint.
Still. Joint, yeah.
Even if they weren't able to do that, if they got paid properly to sell the show,
yeah,
and it was a build to sell, if you started that show up and let's say you spent $100,000 and they paying you $1 million or something like that, all right, let it go.
Yeah,
because that's one thing that like people that are creative, they usually just don't have one idea.
That part.
So you could start something else. And
so now what happens if they take their little show and make it into like a dating app, and now it's the next Tinder or the next Bumble? Well, it's like a $1 billion industry now. Well, off of something that they missed in the paperwork or something like that.
Well, I guess I would definitely say keep your paperwork correct. Like, like, all right, if you want to take it, you got to give me something like a royalty or something. You know what I mean? Or some type of, some type of trailing royalty or something, or some type of something. You understand what I'm saying?
I just bring it up, and the main reason I brought it up is because I saw what happened to a IP that we really enjoyed a lot, and kind of started grassroots the same way as the Pop the Balloon started, and get bought out, and it was completely ruined. Versus. Versus started during the pandemic. It was something that Timberland and Swiss Beats had. It was amazing. Those were those moments, that we watched on our phones and on our screens at home during the pandemic. The Beanie Man and Bonnie Keller, the one he did in Jamaica, and the police came and everything like that. It was some great moments.
Beanie Man is Bonnie Keller?
Yeah, I think so.
Oh, okay.
I could be corrected, but and then they get bought out by Triller, and it's gone. You do a couple of things. They put a versus before a boxing match.
You got okay. This is the thing though. The pandemic wasn't going to last forever.
It could have been a tour.
Yeah, it could.
Like, tell me, like, you wouldn't go see a Jodeci versus Boyz II Men tour. Or like a concert. Like, it could have been a concert series. It could have been a tour.
Absolutely.
It could have been anything.
Absolutely.
They could have grew it. Maybe they didn't want to grow it, but I don't know. It just feels like a lot of people from our community use our grassroots and use our support, and then they kind of just sell us out, and they sell our support out.
Yeah. I think certain businesses are built to sell.
Okay.
So I'm not gonna lie to you. I feel like anything in pop culture, which is based on like the emotions and the trends of what's going on in the now. Like, me as a entrepreneur, anything like that, I'm probably building to sell, because it's like a club. You could have a club that's popping, and just because it's been around for so long, it just starts to die out, and something else new is there with a new name. It might not even be a better club or anything like that. It's just a new spot.
What if you reinvent it? What if you franchise it? And now you got one in Vegas, and you got one in LA, you got one in New York, and you got the Times Square one. And
same thing though.
What's the difference?
Same thing. Like,
what happened?
Let's say Jay-Z and a 40/40. Like, that shit is not popping no more. Like, it's probably still open.
He didn't put any work into it. I think he kind of abandoned it. He didn't have any live events at it. He didn't do anything. Jay-Z could have had a residency at 40/40, and the 40/40 could have been the greatest club ever to ever exist. Like, he kind of lost interest in it.
I think certain things are built to sell, and like when you don't really, let's just say, certain things are like more like they're non-tangible, right? It's hot at the moment. Like, trends are not tangible, and if they go away, cool. But one thing that I will always say to any person that's building a situation to sell is like, all right, if I'm selling it, give me like some trailing type of royalty or something like that, or give me a position, a consulting position or something like that, where I always get a check or something.
But isn't that mentality the same reason why Black people really don't own anything in hip hop anyway? Like, we're still working for deals, and we're still working to get there. You got these old acts still working to get their masters back, because isn't it like a small mentality to just always sell your ass every time someone comes around and offer you some money?
It depends on what it is, because
you're saying it's pop culture. Other cultures see it as art. Everybody else doesn't sell their art. This is our art.
You think like the verses was art?
The verses was art. It was artists. It was music. It was a way.
The verses is a platform to showcase art.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. You brought two artists together to go against each other. Even the way that people were, even when certain verses were announced, Jermaine Dupri and Puff.
Yeah.
People were putting together set lists, almost like, yo, boom, if they play this, we're gonna play that. You're gonna play this, we're gonna play that.
Yeah.
You know? Dipset and Locks put on a masterclass on what songs to play. It is art. It's sports. It was a mixture of so many things.
The artist though, but
it was MCing.
It's just another platform though. But like, we're making the assumption that all these things are profitable. Swiss and Timbaland could have been in the red for millions of dollars, and they're like, all right,
we don't know.
Somebody gonna give us a 10x to sell this shit. We spent $2 million, but they're gonna give us 20.
I know.
I gotta use
that. Go for it. Nah, yeah. Tyrone can cut this out. We'll put a thing on it. Tyrone, you can cut this part, man. We'll put a timestamp on it. Cool sleep. Cool sleep and hungry. Kanye West kind of wild.
Yeah, when it came to the verses, and when it comes down to certain things like in Black culture, I get it. You know why? Because as let's say Timbaland and Swiss Beats, as the actual artists and stuff like that, you're on the pulse of what's happening, right? That, let's say, white investor is that wants to buy it, they're not on the pulse, so they don't know when the shit's gonna fizz out. And you be like, yeah, shit was cool for a minute, but yeah, shit gonna fizz out, or whatever like that. Let's get rid of this shit. You know what I mean? Certain things are plays where you build it to sell, where it's like, all right, well, we had our fun with it, we built it up, made it pop into the point where these folks want to come and pay us millions of dollars for it. Why not? Now, when you're talking about masters and stuff like that, we're talking about an asset, something that will accumulate residual income over time, right?
If you do something with it, like we're talking about, you could spin it any way you look at it. You look at it with the glass half full, like, yeah, this thing is a fleeting thing, but everything starts from something. Like cable TV started from something. Like everything starts with an idea and with execution. You know,
I think the verses is like a club, though. I think it's like a club, like a platform, like Pop the Balloon is a dating platform, right?
Yes, that could spin off into so many different things. It could be a game, it could be a dating app, it could be just about anything. Yeah, it could be singles events. It could literally be anything. It could be red balloons, like yeah. It could be like sky's the limit for what these people. What it just feels like we get used a lot. The grassroots gets used and gets sold out.
That's the way of the world.
Well,
right.
It's gonna become a time where people are tired of it, and then we're just numb to everything, and it's just like, you know what, nothing's gonna fly.
Okay, you got it's. I think you're making it too cut and dry, because you got to think about, like, all right, like Pop the Balloon.
Yeah,
there could be grandiose ideas. It could be this, it could be that, it could be that. But the question is that does that husband and wife have the money to do all that?
Well, they have to scale.
In order to scale, they're gonna have to make some. They're gonna have to give up something anyway. Mm-hmm. You understand what I'm saying? Right. So it's like, all right, Swiss and Timberland, right? Yeah. In order to make this versus thing even bigger than what it is, how much money is it gonna cost? And are they willing to commit to that? Or it's like, all right, somebody's willing to give me a bag right now for it. All right, go ahead, take it. It just depends on it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like Jay-Z and like what's the last brand that he sold?
What, the liquor brand?
The liquor brand, the Ace of Spades. Mm-hmm, yes. Yeah. So it's like, all right, I'll take a brand that's like not popping. I'll attach my name to it, build it up to the point where I could sell it. Where they like these folks that buy liquor companies, it wasn't popping. I made it popping. Now it's popping. People buying it. Now I might still be in the red, but if they buy it from me, I'm gonna turn a profit. I'm moving on. This shit wasn't popping like that. I just attached my celebrity that made it popping.
Yeah.
So that's how I'm trying to make a profit off of this shit.
I'll give you the final word on that. Mm-hmm. Yeah, man. You want to get some final thoughts on this? It's cool. To me, I don't think I'm a fan of the space odds.
Yeah, I like this, man.
Yeah, you working with it?
I like it, man. Maybe it's a little bit if it's a sweeter Scotch. Definitely, I think very smooth for a 92. Mm-hmm. A 92. A lot of Scotches are like 80s.
Yeah.
You know, like 40 ABV, 80 right. proof. This is 92.
92 was a good year, man.
Yeah, and
yo, we're at the age where we can say that. You remember back in the day, you'd be like, yo, 70, yeah, 79 was a good year. 92 was legit a good year. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Shout out to 1992, yo.
Yeah, so it's a little tingle on the tongue.
Right.
Not crazy. I think it has a decent amount of complexity, man. I like this one, man. Please let us guys let us know what you guys think about the Craig Ellicky, 13-year. I think it's a pretty good buy for the price point.
Yeah.
About 50, 55 for 750 mil.
Yeah.
For a 13-year age Scotch. I think it's pretty good, man.
Good for the collection.
Yeah. Let us know what you guys think.
Please.
Corey, cool. Before we go, you want to let the people know what you got going on?
CoolUniversity.com, B.
All right.
Let's get
if you don't follow us on IG, please do at Cigars Whiskey. That's Cigars with an S, Whiskey. Also, subscribe to our YouTube channel, the Cigars and Whiskey Podcast. Cigars with the N sign Whiskey Podcast. Also, remember to like, share, and subscribe. Hit the bell for notifications so you know when we have new content coming out. And with that, we want to thank you for tuning in to another episode. Craig Ellicky, Spy Side Single Malt Scotch Whiskey. Pick it up at your local wine and spirits and let us know what you guys think. We'll catch you on the next episode. Peace.